Alright, this week and next week I'll be finishing out the adventure books that I have. So this week, getting into Call of the Netherdeep. So this one is, Can You Change Fate? The greed of mortals has awakened a powerful entity, long thought destroyed. For eons, this mighty champion of the gods has been imprisoned in the darkest depths of Exandria. His name has been forgotten, as has his heroic deeds. Languishing in despair, he calls out for new heroes to save him. Inspired by the campaigns of the hit series Critical Role, this adventure begins in the wastes of Zorhas and leads to the glimmering oasis city of Ankh-Harel on the continent of Marquette, and from there into a sunken realm of gloom, corruption, and sorrow known as the Netherdeep. Above it all, the red moon of Roidus watches, twisting the fates of those who have the power to shape the course of history. Critical Role, Call of the Netherdeep contains 7 chapters of thrill and adventure, new creatures and magic items, and a poster map of Ankh-Harel. So this one's an adventure for characters of levels 3 to 12. So first off, I'll show off the actual poster. So big old poster of the actual city of Jewel of Hope, Ankh-Harel. So good old. Yeah, if you want to pause and view that and everything. Also gives on the other side the actual cross section of where Ankh-Harel is, and then going all the way down into the Netherdeep. So if you want to pause and kind of as I'm kind of peeking around, making sure people can see this and everything. So that's the other side. So that's the actual poster. As I take forever to fold this back up and everything. Let's see here. Technical difficulties. Alright, there we go. Technical difficulties over. So, what's cool about this is it's in the famous forgotten Critical Role set and everything. So, the first part is I'll go over the first part and everything. So it's the introduction. So it kind of introduces the world of Exandria. Now I have gone over the guidebook to as I pull it out. So I do have a video on the Explorer's Guide to Wildemont. So this is where that is set, and so if you want to go back and check that one out and everything. So it's set in this world. So in the introduction, it talks about the calamity. It talks about the Zorhas. Talks about the coastal town of Jigho, town of the military encampment of Bazazan. It talks about Ankh-Harel itself and Kilmaro. Talks about the Netherdeep, the moon Roidus, and then it actually then gets into the actual story overview and the history. So it's talks about the rise and fall of the Apotheon, and it also talks about the Apotheon's call. So it talks about running the adventure. So this is designed for 5 players, and you start off at 3rd level. So there is an adventure in the wild Guide to the Wildemont that you can run to get characters to level 3 if you don't want to write characters up starting off at level 3. So if you're someone who's oh hey look, we start off at level 1, there is an adventure in the guidebook to Wildemont that you can run to get them up to level 3, or you could find do something kind of as an introductory adventure to get your players up to level 3, or you could just write them up as level 3. So then it actually gets into the character advancement and the chapters of the flowchart. So what's kind of cool about this is that you actually do have in a sense a rival group of adventurers that you're going up against. So it's not just you could say it kind of gives that added incentive. So like I said, you got your good old rival group right here that you can see. So I'm not going to mention them and everything. I'm just going to show the pictures, so that way people are ooh, rival adventure group. Yeah, this is kind of interesting. So you don't necessarily see that in other adventures. So in the back of the book, the poster book, they also have cross section of like where the end carol is, and plus all the way to the netherdeep in there as well. So it gives you like a smaller version of that the poster map, and plus also like on the flip side the actual like poster map of like the whole city. So, and of course it does give like a concept art and everything. So like go over like this real quick, kind of so people can like pause and like, yeah, here's some of the concept art as I get my fingers out of the way, and like even more of the concept art and everything. So like kind of like sketches and stuff, and then even more of it before it gets into those posters and everything. So this is kind of an odd one because, like I said, it starts you off at level 3, and most adventures start you off at like level 1. So, like for instance, the current, like I keep referencing the Curse of Strahd in my videos because like that one I have played as a player, and like so I guess that's why I kind of tend to like reference that one because it's the personally pre-made one that I've gone through as a player. So, but again, so this one is odd, and like I said, it gets you starts you off at level 3. So you might have to do one of 3 things that I mentioned, like either run like one of the adventures I mentioned in like the Guide to the Wildmont to get players up to like level 1. Do your own type of adventure to get them up from level 1 to level 3. Run your own adventure to get them from 1 to 3, or just start them off at like level 3 and everything. And so this one, like I said, takes you to level 12, so it could take a good chunk of like a whole like a campaign. So it's like pretty much all the others that, and like it seems that most of the cutoff for like, levels are like anywhere from 10 to 12 or 13 or so. So that's 12, 13 mid-levels seem to be the cutoff for most of these pre-made adventures and everything. So I think like because like a lot of people and like a lot of times people are like, well, hey, look, you get over things become too unbalanced going into the higher levels and everything. So the one of the exceptions that like I have gone over like when it first came out several months ago was Vecna Eve of Ruin. That starts off at level 10 and takes you all the way up to level 20. So you do have like at least that one for like a high level campaigns and everything. So while like these ones are great in that like they're pre-made, and it takes like I always say like the stuff that's pre-made takes a lot of the legwork out for DMs. So like if you're a beginning DM, stuff like this is great. So that way you can just sit here, take this, crack it open, and read through it. Like I mean, I'm flipping through the stuff, but like you get the idea that you can read through this stuff and be like, oh, okay, so this is how like you run adventures and everything. So it helps you gain experience, so you're not necessarily having to do all the world building, all the write-ups of the NPCs, the big bad evil guy. Like you don't have to worry about all the villains, and you don't have to worry about writing up all the history. So what's great is like if you're like a first-time DM, or like if you're a new DM and like you're looking to create your own world, what you can do is like as you're building out your own world, you can do like I'm big on like there's 2 ways that you can sit there and build it as you go, have your adventure and build it for you type of deal, or you can start like running adventures like this as you're starting to build out your world, so you can kind of like gain the experience running adventures while you're building out your world, and then you can jump in after you gain some experience. But to each his own. So but the focus of this is just yet another one. So this one is like in the critical role world of like Wildmont. So I think like that's what it's kind of cool about this. I don't think it's gotten much attention or anything. So my opinion is that it's probably because it starts off at level 3 and most start off at level 1. And it's like most people I think like are like me, and that like they like starting off at fresh at level 1, and so they don't like, oh wait, you're starting at a different level and everything. So that's why like Vecna Eve of Ruin I mentioned would start at level 10. Running something like Curse of Strahd to get you up to level 10 lets you start at that level 1 and can take you all the way from level 1 to 20. So now there are of course Pathfinder. In Pathfinder there are adventure books that take you through a whole campaign from level 1 to 20, but here in 5th edition most of these books take you up to levels 10 to like I want to say 13 or 14 and everything. So you can go back and check out my some of the older videos I've done of adventures and everything. So this one's like I said, an otter one, and that starts you off at level 3. So you might have to do like an adventure to for levels 1 to 3, or just jump into this at level 3, and it takes you to level 12 and everything. So uh, and it's in like it's in the popular realm of like a Critical Role campaign set and everything. So that's, I think, what's the cool thing about this and everything, even with being kind of odd starting you off at level 3. So, but this is one of the last of the 2 adventure books that I'll be getting before I go back into like other RPGs. Plus, I'll be finishing up like all the Pathfinder books that I do have as well. So that's the stuff that's upcoming the next few weeks.